So,
Awesome.
I would like to welcome everyone to the 14th episode of the PiP Podcast. Today is a very special, long-awaited episode for both me and Khalid.
Absolutely.
We will be talking about the new Tashas cauldron D&D source material or book that came out today. And so it's just gonna be us two. Later, maybe like in a week or so, we will have a guest episode where we have our players come on and talk about what they like about it for like player aspects. But right now we'll be talking about it in general and for just DM sort of perspective.
Yeah.
With that being said, though, I will go ahead and say that this Friday there will not be a guest episode as we have a event to attend to that may or may not be another long-awaited event.
Oh yeah. I think you've been talking about it since episode 1.
Yes. Fate, Heaven's Feel. We're finally going to go or be able to go see it. So that is what we will be doing Friday because they only have one viewing time, which is 7:30. We have to drive an hour to get there. But anyway, with that out of the way, would you like to get right into it, or do you have a topic before that?
I don't really have any topics before that. Yeah, no, we can talk about Tashas.
Alrighty. So, have you been looking through it? Like,
yeah.
What is... Okay, in your... Like, how to phrase this? In your opinion, what do you think is going to be the most interesting subclass? Like, maybe one that you don't think you're going to play, but you want to watch someone else play it, kind of thing?
Yeah. It's so there's a few different ones, so it's kind of, I don't know, like I can run into the same aspects of where it's like so many different options for a player. So that same aspects of so many options for just the so to watch as a DM, to watch which players play what. But I think I will have to say that I am interested in like the Rune Knight. And think, was it the Way of Mercy, the Path of Mercy? Monks. Seems like an interesting thing as well. Let's quick. Let me flip through.
I definitely think Rune Knight was changed a little bit more for the better. Like, I think it was all for the good, not for... I don't think anything got changed badly with it.
Let me see. So, I mean, we've talked about it before on the previous ones when I start mentioning like the warlocks having like the genie patron.
Yeah.
So that one. So I think there's different ones like to pick from, what setting and then just what players. But I think most definitely like the Rune Knight, the Way of Mercy, and the warlock, the Gen Pack warlock, basically. I think those would be kind of interesting.
I think the rogue soul knife class is kind of interesting. If I can easily get to it, that would be tasty. But I think, because I want to read off kind of what I get. Alright, so the soul knife is like a psionic rogue kind of.
Yeah.
So it has its like psionic powers and such. And so it has, what abilities does it get? It can make shimmering blades of just like psychic energy, which I think that's really cool, especially for like a rogue, you know? Because it's like, where'd you pull that dagger from? Oh, just out of thin air.
It reminds me of Psylocke from X-Men fame, like how she has like these bright purple like fist scythes that come out of her, or scythes that come out of her hands.
Along with the psychic blades, they can make soul blades at level 9. It's sort of like, I guess it goes with the psychic blades somehow.
Yeah.
And it can do like homing or psychic teleportation. Throw it at unoccupied space to a number of feet equal to 10 times the number rolled. You then teleport to that space. So basically, you just throw it and teleport to it.
Oh, is that close to like what's his name, McBreezy, one of your player characters that you run?
Yes, it's pretty close to his daggers, kind of.
That's fine.
His daggers are really good for tracking as well, because he can stab it into something, and if that target moves, he'll always know like the general direction of it. Like, I believe it's worded as he knows where it's at, but he wouldn't know exactly where it's at. He'd be like, it went that way.
Okay.
So.
And then going to like in the rogues, going to like the phantoms.
Oh yes. See, now that I see the phantom, I'm kind of like, that second character could be a phantom, because I think the ability to win the Whispers of the Dead, where he can choose another skill, or tool proficiency, and he can change it whenever he takes a rest. I'm like, that seems really good, honestly. Especially if you're like planning something ahead of time. So. And then there's Tokens of the Departed. I didn't actually read this. You're able to snatch a token from the departing soul. A sliver of its life essence takes physical form. Free hand calls a tiny trinket to appear. There.
You know about trinkets.
I know. I'm like, you would love this.
Yeah.
Trinkets are really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing about trinkets. Like, I'll just give people one, but if they can like either make it a part of their character's reasoning for have trinkets, because I think it's a really cool look where they have like a belt and it's just like different things that hang off of them, and they kind of have like basically either like mundane, or if the magical item that they own is one of the trinkets hanging off their thing, then that's kind of a cool concept. God,
I really, because it limits the soul trinkets to equal to your proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
Kind of. So I think what I would do with that is, if a player wanted to just keep getting random little trinkets, he could, but he could only have 3. Like, for right now, like at our levels, their levels, you know, their proficiency bonus is 3. So I would be like, only 3 of those are soul trinkets. And when you use one, you have the next soul trinket you summon is a soul, like it is a soul trinket. But you can keep getting just random little trinkets. Because I love the idea of just like a character who is just covered in like these hanging trinkets all coming off of him.
Oh yeah.
He opens his backpack and it all just like falls out. There's like little mirrors, there's like bones and stuff. It's like, what are you doing? He's the hoarder rogue. That's what he is.
It's funny. There's this there's this player, Holly Conrad. Her character's named Strix, this tiefling sorceress, but they call her a trash witch. And one of the things that she does is she collects like things. If there's times where like things die or explode or break, and she just slowly like takes it and puts it into her cloak. And so she just has like this big menagerie of just like terrible things, or I should say collage of like terrible things like she just picks up. And it doesn't really matter what it is or what it's come from. She just kind of like takes it and just inserts it inside of her like shawl.
Just like, wow, that really is a hoarder.
Yeah, like I mean, like I think one was like a jar of eyes, one was like a human head, like shells of some animal, like yeah, everything. Like she'll just take it and slowly, or like try her best to just like coven it quietly, or just blatantly just take it.
See, I want Nazir to have like a calling card, which would be funny, but have it be something really comedic, not anything scary or like serious. Like maybe he leaves like some sort of doll or something wherever he's been. Just something funny. Or go with his whole, like, because he's a lightning dragonborn. Maybe his mark is like sand glass. Like glass. He'll just like leave it randomly. People find it, be like, the blue boy was here.
Little boy blue. Now, there's something about the Phantom. I think it was a Phantom. It was definitely in the.
Whoa. We seem to have lost count. Why must it do this? There we go. For some reason, you just got booted.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay.
For some reason, you just got booted out of the call. I don't know why.
Oh, man. No.
Anyway, something about.
Yes. So it's kind of implied that this character has died before. Some way, like either they don't know it, or they have, or they're aware of it. And just through the concepts of them being in that land of the dead, then just the information and the power that they get from it. So I think that was UA version of the Phantom. And then just changed possibly.
I was telling Josh earlier today that they didn't really change like the Twilight domain at all. He was like, really, what did they change? I'm like, what? To my knowledge, the only thing that they actually changed was they removed the unlimited dark vision to just 300 feet. And he's like, 300 feet? I'm an elf and I can only see like 60 feet. And I'm like, yeah, it's still overkill.
Yeah, you still see forever.
Robert said in the chat, says nothing scary and then says a doll. Card thing.
That's great.
Ghost walk. You can phase partially into the realm of the dead like a ghost.
I do like that. Also, was it I think one that it will be great flavoring, because that's one of the things I do enjoy, that when there's no real description of something, of how you can make it look, kind of thing. So was it Whispers of the Dead? Yeah. Echoes of those who have died cling to you. That right there, and that concept, I love the idea of something just doing that, where you kind of hear someone like maybe even a point where someone in a tavern kind of sees two people sitting there from the corner of their eye, but when they look, it's just that rogue just sitting drinking his ale. but from the peripheral, you can see someone like with their hand up to their mouth, whispering stuff to him.
Yeah.
That creepy aspects, just, and just like what that would mean as a rogue. It's very, very interesting. Now, I will have to say, because I think it's a cliche when it comes to like your horror stories where you have like, what is it? I think it's like a chaotic neutral tiefling rogue has become like the red flag in D&D. So it's just like, now what happens?
A whole lot of edge.
Yeah. So what happens?
Really
Yeah, it does. So now what happens if it's a tiefling rogue phantom chaotic neutral? Then it's just like all the people who talk to me are my dead friends. Like,
I will say though, I think if Nazir went in the rogue, because he can, I just don't see the point in multi-classing into 3 different things. For some reason I changed my mind. I think Phantom would be pretty funny for him. Because technically he did die, but the Raven Queen saved him. But I think that'd be funny.
Almost died.
The way I pictured it, he died and then like he got like Mario Kart wrecked off the side of the map, pulled back into the game.
Yeah, he had a pulse, but it was a very low pulse.
He was like, Raven was like, nah, bro, let me give you a Band-Aid and like some Kool-Aid and send you back out there.
I'm gonna use this fishing pole from the clouds.
I was telling you, but I really enjoy the fact that they've added more, like, they've made more spells, but they've added, like, already made spells to more spell lists, kind of.
What do you mean by that one?
Okay, so, like, let me go up here.
What page is it? So we can do it that way.
It's all in the row, not the row, but the every section. Not section, but every class.
Oh, the spells
start of it. Yeah, it gives you the spells. Am I wrong in interpreting that those are like new spells that are just being added to those things, or are they just all new spells?
So give me an example.
Let me find 1 second. Where? Because I was looking at the bard. The bard is what caught my eye to it. Yeep. Okay, so like for the bard, first level they now have color spray and command. Second level aid, enlarge and reduce, and mirror image. Like those are all spells that were there, right?
Yeah.
But now they're added to the bard spell list.
Okay.
So they're additional bard spells.
Yeah. So they're pre-existing spells, but now they've given access to that bard, which makes sense. Like color spray is like a bardic feel, and aid as well.
Command kind of makes sense too because it's charisma, right?
Yeah. Which would be a very funny situation where it's kind of like the paladin commands the bard commands the paladin, and just being petty.
Just nah, you do this. Nah, you do this.
That'd be kind of great.
Then cleric doesn't get that much. They get aura vitality, spirit shroud. I don't know what spirit shroud is. Aura of life, aura purity, summon celestial, sunbeam, sunburst, and power word heal.
It's kind of, what's this one? Hold on. No, that's not the one I wanted. So it is very interesting with like jumping to like the sorceress or sorcerers.
Yeah.
Just like aberrant mind, and some of these things remind me of Z, the random four-armed thing that you or warlock that you dealt with.
The hiss guy, the guy that hisses.
Yeah. Even though those are sorcerers and this is a warlock, I think that's kind of funny. Aberrant mind has that concept.
So have you given any more thought to whether you would allow like a psionic character?
Yeah, I wouldn't really mind too much. So I haven't gone too in depth of reading like the whole mock-up for, but yeah, I'll see why not.
They see like I see this picture in here, and I'm looking at it. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. And it's just like arrows hitting a shield of like psychic power.
Yeah, like they gave it to a fighter, which was very interesting because most I think psionics were the wizards. Was the type of wizard.
Yeah, it's the Psi Warrior.
It's funny. Did you just send a message?
Nope, I sent it a few minutes ago.
Okay, it just popped up. That's funny. But yeah, the Psi Warrior. So he's a fighter, but he has these psionic abilities. So I'm on board with that. It'd be very interesting to see, especially if you would take this character, which is a Psi Warrior, and probably play around with being like a Gith or Gith. So you have like already like psychic abilities or psychic barriers, and basically you become like a mind flayer hunter, which is a very, very wonderful concept, I think.
Now I want to do that. Why you do this to me?
You want to be a mind flayer hunter?
I mean, that'd be cool.
Oh yeah, it would be great. I think it'd be kind of awesome, that concept.
Earlier I saw it said fighter and then okay, here we go. Optional class features.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike the features in the player's handbook, you don't gain these features here automatically. Consulting with your DM, decide whether you gain a feature in this section to meet the level requirement noted. So Colin.
You already got them features.
I need more. I need more.
He's a feature boy. Just have all the features. Shocked.
I need to be everything. I need to be like a pack mule, just like a pack rat of features.
That's funny.
But no, I don't actually see any like features. I don't think there's any. Well, 4th level fighter feature. Whenever you reach your level in this class that grants the ability score improvement feature, you can do one of the following as you shift the focus of your martial practice. You can replace a fighting style with another fighting style. If you know maneuvers, you can replace one maneuver with a different one. And I'm pretty sure you can already do that. Not the fighting style, the maneuver one.
Yeah.
So why would I want this?
Now you see the Battle Master build, right? Like the build, so you can see like Archer, Duelist, Gladiator stuff. Yeah. Weren't a few of these already in there though? Like Brawler and Duelist, I thought were.
So I think they might be. I don't know. From my perspective, like these are just like if you want to be this, you take these things when you are able to. They're not. I don't think there's something you can just choose. And while like dueling, 2-weapon fighting, like that's pretty close to Nazir.
Yeah.
or not duelist, gladiator. Gladiator is what I was thinking.
Oh.
But either way, I don't know. Like, while I like Battle Master, I think I would prefer taking the martial adept feature and just getting 2 maneuvers from that instead of becoming a class all around the maneuvers.
Gotcha.
Because I don't know, I just feel like you could, with the martial adept, I believe that's the one it's called, because I think I have it on the second character that I have backup. It's just you can just choose that and you get 2 of the features and they'll go well with whatever character you have without basing your character around them always doing that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, say you just wanted to be a rogue, but you wanted the maneuvers, you could still do that.
I remember I was talking about the like the monk way of mercy.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at that right now.
And just that, like Borderlands, when the soldier gets was it cauterized, you just shoot your friends all in the face and chest and it heals them.
Yeah.
And so like flurry of healing and harm, the concept of just run up, start punching your buddy to health. It's like, like a reverse, like think of Fist of the North Star Kenshiro, but wearing like a nurse's outfit. So it's just like this really mean mug nurse.
You can have different merciful masks. You know, blank and white. I think that's supposed to say black and white, maybe. No, maybe just blank white. Raven and just crying visage. The crying visage. Well, no, there's also laughing visage, skull, and butterfly. The crying one doesn't sound so merciful. The crying one's just like, bro, you scary.
well, like you're weeping for your enemies, and so maybe it's that concept, like you just cry, because like, I mean, I guess it's just a flavor, because the same as like laughing visage, and you're just kind of like happy, and you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna blow it off, and then like skull could be just that, where you're just like, death is mercy. It's like, oh, okay. So, physician's touch.
So
yeah.
There's also Way of the Astral Self. Give me some like Doctor Strange kind of vibes. I don't know why. It just made it. Whenever I see like Astral Self or something like that, it just reminds me of when the bald lady. Like,
oh yeah, great one.
A lot of people.
Now, have you read Tasha's like footnote or her little like aside? Note to self: create a spell that lets you throat punch people with your ghost. That's amazing.
I did not. I don't see that. Oh wait, no, I see it now.
It's just boo.
I think I would love to see a player do the monk, like Astral Self. I don't think I want to do it, but I don't think the way I play would be good as a monk. I don't know.
No, do you say that as in you think that the character will just evolve into a character you already play, or that you just wouldn't be able to shift?
So like I think so the types of characters I think I'm able to play is like the keep up with like role play and stuff would be personally, it would be obviously in a fighter, paladin, rogue, possibly druid, and then a warlock. I think those are the ones I'm set to play. I don't think I can play a wizard. Well, cleric kind of, but that's like a mixture of fighter and paladin.
Yeah, basically.
I don't think I could be a full cleric because I'm not. I don't really like waiting and healing a lot, even though that's not all that clerics do.
Yeah, I could. Because what's his name? Omen Drawn. So like the whole Acquisitions Incorporated games, he's a cleric, but he hits like a paladin. Like Sans, like the divine smites and so forth, but he hits pretty hard, and that's why I keep forgetting that he is actually a cleric. And so I guess it just depends. If you're like a war domain, then you're playing on some more combat focus.
I already told you how I felt about the war domain.
You love it? That's nice.
I dislike the war domain.
Oh, well, it happens. I was trying to see if they did anything like projectiles. I think there is it might be in Volos. I think there is a type of monk that can shoot projectiles. So if you feel like Hadoukens, then you can do it. Let's check Hadouken. Let's see. Hands of Ultimate Mercy. Yeah, there's some interesting spells. I mean, it's very interesting when people have this like, oh, monks are OP, and then you look at it, it's like, no, monks are kind of balanced and sometimes underperform. It depends in certain situations. But I say that I think it's just because the stun option, a lot of DMs fear that a monk is going to stun their enemy or the opponent they put against their party, and that's kind of, I don't know, terrifying.
So, like, I like monks.
Mm-hmm.
I personally, I don't think I can play it to the best of its ability. It would be fun to try, but I feel like it would die pretty quickly. That is my opinion. Now, like, as an NPC, yes.
Ooh, so go ahead. No, go ahead.
But just NPCs are easier to play, in my opinion, than like a player character, kind of, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because, well, you basically give them abilities as to not like get too attached to them. You give them, you know, their abilities of what class they would be and stuff. And you write like a short description and you play it out like that. That's how I do it, at least.
Mm.
But with like a player character, it's like I try to stick to how they would do stuff. Exactly. Anyway, continue with what you were gonna say.
So what's Nazir's damage dice on his lightning breath?
Right now it's 3d6.
Okay. Because there is this deflect energy that's a part of the monks. So when you take acid, cold, fire, force, lightning, or thunder damage, you can use the reaction to deflect it. When you do so, the damage you take is reduced by 1d10 plus your wisdom modifier.
You like Avatar grabs the lightning with one finger and shoots it back.
He like takes it and tosses it to the sky. That'd be great.
The wizard has gotten a lot of spells added.
Alright.
We got Booming Blade, Green Flame Blade, Lightning Lure. These are asterisks. So I think they might be like edited or changed a little bit. Tashas Caustic Brew for first level. Second level, Augury. Enhance ability, Tasha's Mind Whip. Is it supposed to be wipe or is it actually whip? I'm unsure. Third level, Intellect Fortress, Speak with Dead, Spirit Shroud, Summon Fae, Summon Shadow Spawn, Summon Undead. Some of these are asterisks. Fourth level, Divination. Then Summon Aberration, Construct, and Elemental. All those are with asterisks except for Divination. Tasha's Otherworldly Guise and Summon Fiend, 6th level. Dream of the Blue Veil. I've never heard of that in my life.
Yeah, a lot of these are because Because so Tasha's hideous laughter is one that's been around for a bit. That is her namesake. But I think a lot of these are now being put in as new spells. So, so she's throwing them out there, literally.
Yes. Order of the Scribes. What are the Scribes? They're wizards.
See, I'm going in order of just like what rolls through next. So it's like some paladins are being paladin-y.
Wizards get to be blade singers.
Yep.
When faced with the endless onslaught of magical possibilities, many wizards suffer identity crises. Some overcome, some break, and some become sword bards. What? Blade song. That's kind of cool. That's pretty nice. I like that.
Yeah, because there were war wizards at one time as well. Like you can be just that, where you can use a sword, but you're technically a magic user.
Then you got Order of Scribes. Tasha's note is, magic is great and all, but have you smelled a book? Yes, and I understand.
I love the smells of book. Like, give me Barnes and Noble as a candle. I would like it. Manifest it. So actually, what I'm going to do, let's see.
For some reason, I hate burning candles. Like, I hate the smell of the burning candle, but I like the smell of, like, the candle while it's not burning.
Oh, no, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. There's some that do it right, and other ones are just like, what's the point of this?
Why do you do this?
So there are the feats. So because one of your players took our chef, so was it a UA or was it in another book that you were using?
It was UA. As soon as it came in the UA, I was like, you get this, just because you do it all the time anyways.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was kind of like, he didn't take it for any reason. It's just his character is all about cooking, so I was like, well, you get the chef feat because of that. It just seemed like it fit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he could have been a chef before he became an adventurer. Kind of thing. As a short rest, yeah.
It's funny, both Eldritch Adept and Fey Touch could have worked for one of the characters.
Yes. Definitely Fey touched. Because of their arm. Poisoner. Nice.
You have one. You have the feat, so you're both a chef and a poisoner.
Why is this spicy? Yeah.
You just serve food to your party. Which one am I leaning on today? That's great.
The group patrons are really cool, in my opinion. They remind me of like Don Machi, how like the gods and goddesses will be like, yeah, this is my familia. This is basically that, but for like dark demon people with groups.
Yeah, different ones. Because it's very funny because of the character Lady Sia and what she is, and then the Great Father and what he is, and then technically, I guess Zymarcus. Not Zymarcus. What am I doing? Suthro.
They could be patrons. What?
I mean, technically, you have both. You have ancient beings, aristocrats, and criminal syndicates.
Oh yeah. This is true. This is very true. Yeah, there we go. Dream of the Blue Veil spell.
Hmm.
Whoa. This would be cool for the crossover, though, this spell.
Mm-hmm.
And it would actually work. Because have you read it yet? You want me to read it to you?
I'm reading, but yeah, read out loud. That'll be good.
Okay. So Dream of the Blue Veil, its component is a magic item or a willing creature from the destination world. And you and up to 8 willing creatures within range fall unconscious for the spell's duration and experience visions of another world on the material plane, such as Oerth, Toril, Kryn, or Eberron. The spell reaches its fullest duration. The visions conclude with each of you encountering and pulling back a mysterious blue curtain. The spell then ends with you mentally and physically transported to that world that was in the visions. That pretty much sounds like a crossover spell. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're right. It's very funny though because of the concept of it being blue energy, and I think that's one of the main components of what I was explaining how it looked when you did the crossover. And now the fact is that they can now imagine Toril because the fact that they've been there.
Yeah.
That's funny.
They also have Nazir's like scales and a magic item from there, so it's like because they have the chain that you gave him and the pearl and stuff. The pearl.
I mean, and then like what's your name? Glat Bloom Peepcon Apple Pumpkin Peach.
So intellect fortress for the duration. A willing creature you can see within range has resistance by psychic damage, as well as advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. Lightning lure. Is this changed? Oh, maybe it was. I don't know.
Hold on, I'm gonna let's see. I'm gonna see if my phone's gonna behave.
Please behave, phone.
Please behave, phone.
Spirit Shroud. You call forth spirits of the dead, which flit around you for the spell's duration. The spirits are intangible and invulnerable. Until the spell ends, any attack you make deal 1d8 extra damage when you hit a creature within 10 feet of you. This damage is radiant, necrotic, or cold, your choice when you cast a spell. Any creature that takes the damage can't regain hit points until the start of your next turn. That's a pretty good spell, not gonna lie. Summon Celestial, I can summon a god.
Will it be a good thing or a bad thing for that to happen? You know what I mean?
Not good.
I guess it's just how it plays out, maybe.
Summons the visitor.
Cool.
Starts screaming. Wait, summon like fiendish spirit. Damocles uses it, summons the demon that's chasing him, just right in front of him. Oh my god.
I mean, that's the thing though. When using Divine Sense, the visitor also comes off as a fiend.
Oh.
And what's his name? Arturus took damage the first time he did it.
What?
Psychic damage. It was a cold kind of heat to his brain.
That doesn't sound healthy.
Nope. His brain was wondering many things. So actually, let me see something. I want to...
Wait. Prosthetic limb. This item replaces a lost limb, a hand, an arm, a foot, a leg, or a similar body part while the prosthetic is attached. Functions identically to the part it replaces. You can detach or reattach it as an action, and it can't be removed against your will. It detaches if you die. And it could also fit for one of them, I think. That'd be fun. A Fey-touched prosthetic limb. Dungeon Master tools.
So before we go to this one, let's shoot up real quick because we ignored the artificer.
Oh yeah.
And so
ignoring.
I mean, and so you know my stance pretty well about the artificer.
You don't like it? No, I'm just kidding.
And I mean, because it's kind of funny, just because of how much I do love like alchemy and things like that. So artificer is fine, but I still feel it should fit into, for me personally, Iberon. But I think a few of these, though, can be translated over to like Ravnica, I do believe.
I think artificer is gay. No, I'm just kidding. It's not like it would be necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, like I mean,
it's like a battlesmith.
Yeah, so a person who just, let's see.
Flash of genius.
Alchemic savant. So there's different ones. Because the picture for the battlesmith is this person who's like smiling with the stereotypical goggles on their head and just like apron and smudges, but he's also wearing some bits of armor, and there's like a armored mechanical mastiff behind them. I think that's kind of interesting. Because looking at Eberron, because you know the Warforges are one of the main races in Eberron, right?
Yes.
So I was saying so and they could take like a halfling or like a gnome. So take a halfling and they make them like an artificer alchemist, and then get a warforge and then also make them an alchemist, and then basically just run Full Metal Alchemist. And I think what I would do with that one, if someone, so again, like I do think like if a player is starting out at a level where everyone else is, like, so like just like Trey's character Gion, so I gave him a choice of, but he gets like 2 to 3 like magical items and so forth.
I'm still a little bit like, why? Because you didn't give me any magic items. Did I? Didn't. No, you didn't. I was
because no one had to.
What?
I don't think anyone had too many at the time.
I was like, bruh, we gave him 3.
Yeah, because I think at the time, yeah, it was. So the point was, everyone had like sparse amount of magical items. So when he started, everyone was about at their top, if I'm correct. So I was like, okay, well, this balances out. He should get 3. And then that's because that's, well, if you have to attune to it, then you have a limit of 3. If they're not attuned, then you can technically have whatever. But I think it's a nice number.
It's funny though, because I ended up giving him the decanter that they.
Oh, the water skin.
Like, I gave him that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked him to get the luck charm for me. And then he kept it.
Well, to be fair, you just asked him could he go into the place and look for stuff. And then he found it, and then he's like, "Oh, let me see that," and just kept. Took it.
Semi-triggered. Because then I was like, it doesn't matter. It's funny because he doesn't even add the bonuses to his rolls. He always forgets. Like, why you forget, Trey? Add the bonuses. Because I remember him looking at me at the table, and me and him like lean and whisper to each other a lot, and he just goes, "I just remembered I haven't been adding my bonuses this whole time, ever since I got it." And I'm just like, Trey, we're gonna take it and keep it. You need to use it. Come on.
He's the strategist of the group. I don't know, maybe. But
I mean, I really wanted him to tidal wave that whole group of people for funsies.
Would have been fun though.
It would have been fun seeing Cody and Noah's reaction.
It was very interesting to see this kind of like shift in a way, where it's like now it's Arturius and Damocles kind of getting into something, and Gion and Nazir just kind of like, nah, we'll just chill out and just be calm.
Because it was usually Nazir and Damocles.
Yeah. And then sometimes they can rope Kira into the nonsense as well. And just have her just do stuff too, and then she gets in trouble with everyone else. Like the bathhouse incident.
There was a plan. They just didn't stick to the plan.
I mean, was there though?
There was. Cody just left. Cody was in the alleyways, like they're gone. They're dead. I'm gonna go. I'm leaving.
I like though the tipping force was like he grabs you by your lower jaw and throws you into Kira. And he's like, by his lower jaw? Yeah, no, I am deuces. I am out.
I kill Kira, and then I just run into the alleyway. And then it's like, at least I stayed until I knew there was no help whatsoever. Because when Damocles jumped off the building and then proceeded to try and attack, and then he got polymorphed into a chicken.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as he was polymorphed, I was like, nah. I'm just gonna leave. I was gonna help you, but you put the last nail into that coffin. That was one of my favorite sessions, though.
Yes.
Whoa, that's not low. Okay. So is there anything on the Artificer you wanted to touch on?
Well, you see the weird homunculus of your determination?
No, I didn't. I see homunculus servant.
Yeah, you see the flying winged cat carrying stuff.
Wait a second. You see that owl? Like the mechanical owl?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what Grokmar has. Except he has a really low IQ owl that has a bunch of bugs. He literally has that.
That's great.
And I gave it to him before I saw it, because I gave that to him 2 months ago or something.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Well, that's cool. Now I have a picture I can show him of what it looks like. And then when it decapitates itself every 5 minutes, I can laugh at him still. Because that's what it does. If it gets flustered, its head spins off because it's not secured. And then he has to screw the head back on and let it reboot kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's really funny. Does it do anything? Nah. It looks funny. It doesn't even look cool. It just it looks funny.
But that bird looks cool, bro. I do like the cabinet. So it's filled with like magical item or potions. But I think I like that. Was that?
Said not his owl.
Oh, that's mean.
His owl was filled with or stupid. That's what his owl was filled with.
It's filled with stupid.
It really is. I guess he could throw some stuff inside of it. Like I don't. Yeah.
Would it be beneficial for him though? Like, as in, it won't get lost, destroyed, or flown off with?
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Just have to figure that one out. I told you how okay, so for the viewers, Grokmar has like low intelligence, so and he's also an orc, so he's played like really, really dumb. But he's like the stereotypical jock, like really dumb but really strong. So like it's really funny because there was one point where everyone's getting, not everyone, but they're getting like magic items and stuff. And Grokmar wanted something specific, but it did like a lot of damage. And so the guy handed him something that looked like it. And then was like, now remember, be careful, it's magic. But it wasn't magic at all. And so he just sat there and like Trey was actually kind of happy to have that for Grokmar. Because he was like, Grokmar pulls out this thing and he's super excited to use it. And so Grokmar's just imagining that it's actually magical. I was like, yes, this is perfect.
That's one thing I wanted to touch on. So with one of the things the artificer can do, depending on which one, is that they can make magical items. Have you seen that?
Which one? The battlesmith?
No, this one should be
Infusions.
Yeah, it should. So going to page 33. And so that with him actually, like, because I think there is a place in a world where you have this, like, not necessarily, they might not be a halfling or even a gnome, but maybe just a shorter statured person, and they're walking with a big backpack on their back, and you see like magical items tumbling out of it as they're just kind of like nutty professor / like absent-minded professor looking for stuff, and it's just kind of like, oh, you want to pick up that mechanical crab? Nah, and then just keep on, you know what I mean? There's like gloves that your person was looking for and going to pay money for, and they're just like, just make it. But then that also falls into like, where does the DM sit, where a person can make a magical item, but can they sell it off? You know what I mean?
They can also replicate magic items, like if they sell
they replicate it. That's what I mean.
So the bag of holding, sending stones. I like how there's a rope of climbing. Like, I just like that name. Like the ladder you sold in the one shot.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, the ladder backpack. So it is a quintessential like dungeoneering backpack. So if you need to get up somewhere, then it's really gory. Like, that's an awesome idea for a backpack. But Noah's character, being Eric Croa, doesn't, like, you know what I mean? Like, he flies.
I love that.
But the joy, the sheer joy of him purchasing that backpack and finding the right color, then just going, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, buddy. Now that is some bird brain energy right there. I like it. Oh, freaking just. It's like, I think I was gypped. Like, no, I mean, to be fair, the shopkeep just like, okay. I mean, it's not their job to tell you, hey, you can fly. They think you might be getting it for a friend or something. I don't know. I've said before, I would enjoy touching back in on Iberon in itself and just that setting in place, but I would like it to be a limited run and also people with good characters. You know what I mean? Like
the next crossover, Eberron.
Maybe. So it would be very interesting to do some kind of like one-shot-ish thing. I don't know. We'll see.
I would like to record the next crossover and like upload it.
Yeah.
Maybe by that time I'll have like another GoPro.
Mm-hmm.
And we could, if everyone's down, we could record everything.
Yeah.
Magic themes. The magic tattoos are pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's ghost step tattoo.
And so, cause have you ever read through Iberon?
No.
So in Iberon, you get things called like dragon marks. These dragon marks are like basically like birthmarks, just sigils / tattoo-esque things that appear on your body. They give you certain like boons and identifiers of like your like house's orders or just magics you use. So it'd be very crazy if someone has like dragon marks and then they have magic tattoos on them as well. It's like, okay, bro, you just body modded. Let me see.
You're just all about them tattoos and marks, my dudes. Ooh, something I do want to touch on though is the mimic thing.
Oh, okay.
Let me get down here. Oh wait, no, there's magical phenomena, and I like the idea of this. Like about having like, it says here like a necrotic tempest.
So
I guess it's just like a storm of death. Thrim's howl. A flame storm, flay wind. And then here, the mimic colonies. So it's just like a colony of mimics.
That sounds like a bad Sunday.
So 10 miles of the colony, any mimic can communicate. Just the idea of like, there's a picture here and it's just like everything is a mimic. I would love it.
Everything is mimic. Everything is mimic when you walk in the dungeon. I love it.
Like that, like the idea of going into like a dungeon, like, and it's like that episode of SpongeBob where they're like, "It's just a cave." No, that's the worm. And they start.
Oh yeah. Ooh, I'm playing right now in the Barbarians, like the Path of Beast.
Mm-hmm.
That one does remind me a lot of I think they're called the Shifters from Iberon as well. But the origins are really cool. Like, one of your parents is a lycanthrope, and you've inherited curves.
Yes, spicy.
Okay. You're descended from a archdruid and inherited ability to partially wild shape, which is a very cool concept of like the druid is of the wild, and so they understand the Shun civilization, and so you have this person who's descended from them who's also of the wild, but they just gone more barbaric versus like completely in tune to nature. They're just like a beast version of Mowgli.
Yeah.
Let's see. A few spirits gifted you with the ability to adopt different bestial aspects. An ancient animal spirit dwells within you, allowing you to walk this path.
When you enter your rage, you can transform, revealing the bestial power within you. Until the rage ends, you manifest a natural weapon. Counts as a simple melee weapon for you, and you add your strength modifier to the attack and damage rolls when you attack with it. My bad.
Ooh.
Can I have a tail that's just made of swords?
No. Nazir should have been a half dragon if he wanted a tail.
You wouldn't let me be a half dragon. It's not a race.
Exactly.
It's not a playable race. Homebrew me a half dragon, and even if it's garbage, I'll still look cool, so I'll take it.
Well, Malice is a half dragon. There you go. Homebrewed.
Dang it!
No,
I love
Malice
that.
is air drag, or Malice is a full dragon, air quotes.
I love that. Just Milos and Draconic. Why are her eyes so big and ugly? Me and Draconic, the same reason yours are.
Malice cries. Malice cries in Draconic.
Yeah. I
Making
really
a whole.
didn't think he would start crying. I thought it would just be like, I'd be like, just curse me out and then leave or something.
You went after this little boy's career. Because my concept is that he's being like, he's trying to be like all high and mighty, and so he's a proud dragon, and this little girl with the creepy crow eyes is beneath him, and the fact that you like equated this amazing dragon in his eyes to just some kid makes him like, oh man, what a betrayal. I can't believe you've done this.
Just up to Lion King. Long live the king.
Just child crying. That's great. They're just like, yeah, my job.
Wait, continue.
There's the concept. Oh, my job is done. Both kids are crying. I'm gonna go to sleep in a different room.
That's basically what happened. Well, that is what happened. And then they ran away. But I want you to say, I need you to tell the story for the viewers so it's like immortalized here on YouTube about how Trey got led astray by a child.
So, in the game, I have the players playing the Shadowfeld. So there's a type of mutation that happens in this version of the city for me, where sometimes children are born with different features of crows, be it a full crow head, maybe a beak, feet. So one of the kids is a little girl with her hair looks like crow down. It's just this black, fluffy feathers and hair. And she has really big black eyes in like when you see her in low light, but in the light you can actually see they're just these big, giant, inquisitive brown eyes. So her thing is that she's really friendly and she's adventurous, so she'll just wander off. She'll leave the orphanage by herself and then just wander and then just come back whenever she's ready. And so now that Nazir and so Jacob's character Nazir and then Trey's character Gion finds the children, they find that they need to go to the Church of Onyx, which is just the Raven Queen's church, the Black Church. So outside the church, little Melanie, this girl with big crow eyes, just like, I don't want to go in that church. I'm supposed to go in the church, and it makes my tummy hurt, so I don't like going into the church. So after discussing it for a bit, some players say a little too long, but they decide that Nazir's going to go in with Malos, and then Gion can stay outside with Melanie. But the thing is that Melanie has to stay there near the church. And so her like slowly backing up as she's like, I'm going to listen. She's obviously not listening. So there's like, come on, Melanie, just stay with us. So Nazir goes in the church and Gion is watching over Melanie, make sure she stays out of trouble. So then Melanie, she's probably around like 4 or 5 years old. She goes and points at the stone on the cobblestone and goes, hey, look at this. Look at this thing. So Gion, the wise druid, goes and walks a few steps and looks at what she's talking about. And so then she takes a few more steps. No, look at this now. So he then follows a little bit more and then looks at that. And then look at this and this. And so he keeps on doing this as they slowly start getting further away from the church, until they're in a whole nother block from the church. And then she's just like, hey, look at this plant. And so the owner of the plant steps out of their house and go, hey, stop it. Because these children, because of their appearance, they kind of creep people out. So people try to avoid them superstitiously. So the guy scares her away. So she's like, come on, let's go. Let's run away because, it's scary. So obviously she's not afraid. But Gion is like, I'm gonna listen. So now this little girl runs further than where she's supposed to be, standing outside, tricking the druid to go on an adventure with her. So far into the city that they run back into Damocles, the tiefling. And then he's just like, what? I'm not going to listen to this little girl. And so she wants him to come look at the stone. And obviously he's not going to fall for this little trick until she's like, okay, I'll listen. I'll see a magic trick, or you can pick me up. Which means Damocles has to go past Galarian, or not Galarian, but Gion to get to her, which means that he is in fact being tricked to go further than where he's supposed to go. And so she just keeps doing this. Like, she keeps tricking people into doing what she wants in a weird, just like a little playful thing. Because that was like, even before, there's like these giant crow-headed gargoyles that patrol the city. And because of her just like persuasiveness, she got to ride on a gargoyle in the night, kind of thing, with Malas. While these gargoyles are known to be quite terrifying and serious, and yet she somehow persuaded them to become a ride. So yeah, that's Melanie.
Yeah, that was. It's funny how like. We didn't have a problem. We created our own problem and then solved it.
That's the best D&D session ever in some aspect. Like, I love that concept where it's just like, well, we have something to do, but we also just did this. Oh no, why did we do this? Looks like we got to fix it.
Because it was like that whole session was Artorias and Damocles, so Cody and Noah, they're doing something kind of legitimate, as to why we're there. And then, Artorias was, and then Damocles had to go save Artorias. And then Nazir, being upset that Artorias wouldn't let him come with him to the cool, like, sewers, was just like, if he needed my help, he would have let me come in the first place. I'm going to take a nap. And the fact that Gion just was like, it wasn't Nazir that was like, let's take a nap. It was Gion. Gion was like, let's take a nap.
Yeah, because I think he has to get his spell. Wait, did he have to get his spell slots back?
No, he didn't fight. So he still had his spell slots. He didn't fight at all.
Yeah, because he was in this session. So yeah, that's what I was confused about. Because like, take a nap, like, okay. But I think it's like
sleep.
like right before I could address it, I think you did need to take a longer short rest though.
I did for my life breath.
Yeah, and that's what caused me like, okay, don't need to question it. But then like thinking back, it's like, but Gion was fresh.
Yeah, Gion wasn't there the session before, so he hadn't done anything.
Yeah.
It is 11:44. Do you want to do the last segment we normally do?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the last segment is always the what are you watching, playing, reading, listening to. So I think I'll know the reading aspects, but go ahead. What are you doing in those spots?
Reading Tashas cauldron. Waiting for Friday for a multitude of reasons. So one of which would be the Boruto chapter 52 comes out, where I think his name's Kishimoto, the original writer of Naruto, takes back writing over it. So he, to my knowledge, he is now taking back control of the story, as was like set before the story started. And so I want to see what happens with Naruto. That's like all just gonna fade away if Naruto isn't gonna die, kind of hope he does, though.
Really?
I do actually want him to die. Because I feel like if he stays, he's just gonna be like, oh no, there's a big bad guy now. What can we do? Naruto pops up.
Oh yeah, a Goku situation.
Yeah. So, and I feel like it would be. I feel like it would help progress Boruto and everything, like just his character. Because I think throughout the whole story, he's sort of like, oh, what a worthless like dad, kind of, because the dad never, like Naruto in Boruto is never home because he's a Hokage.
Yeah.
And so maybe him dying will make like Boruto emotionally sort of like upgrade or like advance. You know what I mean? Like he'll understand more because he'll have to do more. Something like that. I don't know. I just want Naruto to die. He served his purpose. He had his 2 shows. He can die now. Then also, I think the new My Hero Academia chapter is coming out. I want to see Dabi fight Todoroki or Shoto in Endeavor. Watch second season of Hannibal along with the first season. I just binged it in like a few days. I am now watching the 3rd season of Danmachi. I'm also watching a lot of Good Mythical Morning. Listening to Maroon 5, Linkin Park, a bunch of just random stuff from Spotify.
Yeah.
Ooh. Before I continue, there is something we never addressed.
What's that?
We never addressed the B-roll that's playing of the table.
Oh, okay, yeah. Not Linkin Park. Maroon 5 helped build that table, in a sense.
Yeah, we were listening to it a lot.
Yeah. But yeah. I mean, well, I wanted to build a table, not just for myself, but for my players and for Jacob's games as well, to have just like an awesome D&D table. So I was like, I'm gonna build this table and it's gonna be under $50. And it's like, I found 2 pallets, put them together, or sorry, not 2, 4 pallets. It's 4 pallets put together. The table itself is massive. It's just like this big old like workshop of a table, I think. But yeah, I wanted to make like modular and cheap was the two like driving forces to it. So there's a lot of stuff I put in there. There's like Purple Heart shelves, it's a drop slot shelf. So what that means is that we cut holes out on the tabletop and then you slide them in and it just sits inside of it. But while Purple Heart can be expensive, found it really, really cheap, and it's amazing, crazy, like tough wood. I love it. But yeah. So there's a lot of stuff in there. There's still features I kind of want to put onto the table without going too overboard on it. But yeah, I love it. And then like all the players helped with building and assisted me to build it as well. But yeah, I think it's a really, really cool table.
One of the other things was to make sure like all the players had tons of room, and the DM had tons of room, because like as a DM having like all the books open and stuff is like, whoa. It just takes up like all of your space, and sometimes you have to like make room or close a book to roll and stuff like that. Then I 3D printed a coaster that Khaled is going to make like a rubber version of. It's a D&D ampersand coaster. And we routed out, like basically we made it to where the coasters will sit flush on the table. So that would be nice.
There was a fire because of it.
Oh yes, there was. Trey went full caveman on on it because the router bit sunk. Like it started to dip down and go, like lose its level. And then there was a bunch of just like wood shavings in the hole, and there was a few sparks and it lit a fire. So that was pretty fun.
Yeah. I think, well, yeah, I mean, it's like, it has a bit of like a picnic table feel to it, which I do like. But again, most of it is reclaimed wood. I think I only had to buy like the 2x4. No, it's not like 2x4s, were they like 1x4s or something?
Or something like that.
Yeah, but I think it's a good table. I still want to not stain it, but to put a finish on it, I think would be really good. And now, like, I feel like the finish and then the coasters will just like shoot it up a whole nother level.
Yes. And then
Yeah.
just for like simplicity, it's basically like an 8x8 table. Basically, it's a little bit shorter than like it's 8x7 point whatever. But
yeah, 8x7.8, thin wise, or so width. Yeah, width.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So it's a pretty big table. It'll sit comfortably like on each side. It should be able to sit, 9 people, and then the DM. So it should be able to fit at least 10 people in general.
Yeah.
So
it's a perfect for like crossovers, or if you have a big party, like a big group of players.
Yeah, and it separates in the middle, so it can be 2 separate tables if need be. But so now that we made sure we covered that, watching, of course, I said Hannibal and stuff, but I'm looking forward, and we'll probably end up rewatching the first 2 Fate movies with Josh, just the recap.
Okay.
And then we're gonna do that, and then other than that, I'm done. Yeah. I'm done.
That reminds me of so Chad, when we're playing like card games or like turn-based things, what he would do is like instead of saying "Are you done?" he'll go "Are you dumb?" And and people are like, yeah, and he's like, okay, and just ignore. He'll do it so often, and just purposely like, are you done? You dumb? And he's like, yeah. Wait, what? It's like, okay, but so for me, I think it's perfect because I really didn't have too many things to point out for myself. I'm watching. Right now, it's not just one thing; it's a whole network. So I'm watching Shudder. They're not a sponsor. I went for the whole like I will trial this for 7 days, and now I adopted a Shudder account. But so I'm watching Shudder again. So again, The Void is one of my favorites. The Curse, Naori, is a really amazing Japanese found footage horror movie, like just phenomenal. Really creepy and strange, and feels realistic, which is really cool. So yeah, Shudder is what I'm watching. But of course, Mythical Kitchen. So Good Mythical More spinoff. So Mythical Kitchen, all their silliness that they do on that one.
I actually have today's episode of that pulled up. The watch a little bit.
Like, I will say, like, because we did like a cook, well, more of a cook in than a cookout, but made some burgers for everybody.
That was funny when I go, yeah, look at the guy who didn't come to the cookout. I said that to Cody. He was like, there was a cookout? It was at his house. It was just a cook-in. He didn't know we were calling it a cookout.
That'd be fun. It's like saying if we just brought over a grill, start like grilling outside of his house. He's like, "What are y'all doing? Go back in, boy." But one of the episodes they were on Good Mythical Morning. They're doing things like what things taste good together. So I was like, you know what? I want to try these burgers, but I have a habit of just buying in bulk. So I rather cook for my friends versus just like making a bunch of food that will just go bad because I can't eat it all at once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I love because it's like look at the internet and like helping me. So YouTube, watched a bunch of Worm Life, created a gaming table, watched a bunch of Good Mythical Morning, created amazing food. It's like, man, I need to be careful. So yeah, I don't know. I think so playing right now it's just D&D. I actually stopped with Guardian Tales. Probably the chagrin of Robert, but I was like, it was fun though, but I just stopped with it. Reading Tashas Cauldron, of course. I start listening to more Mumford and Sons.
Yes.
Like there's some good songs in there that are really like oddly enough, I feel like they can help inspire certain like game points in D&D, since I love musical cues in D&D. I think that does help out a lot, building atmosphere and so forth. I think it'd be kind of interesting if I can do like a wired Bluetooth, because it's that one table that I want to build. So wiring Bluetooth to the table pointed at the players. So then when I like music and so forth, because I think I've told you, but I like my goal for like a DM, like a gaming table, is that the DM spot is not just like his, it's almost like a DJ booth as well. So I have all like my books and my tablets, but I also have things that connect to like speakers and ambient speakers and like directional speakers. Because I think it'd be kind of fun. I'm gonna have to experiment on the players with some musical stuff hopefully next time. Because the Shadowfell I think is the perfect like atmospheric terror place. So we'll have to see.
I love the Shadowfell. And I don't know, it's kind of fitting. It's like in game it's been 1 year since they've been to the Shadowfell, and by sort of like association, it's 1 year in game time since Nazir joined.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like given, like, even though it's about, for me right now, it's like the main quest is going there, saving the townspeople, getting Cody his like pieces for what he's looking for his character. At the same time, it's given Nazir like the option to be like, hey, now I can like delve into the Raven Queen a little bit more, because she was the one that saved me and put me there. So I like that. I like the Shadowfell for the atmosphere as well. I like the gloom of it. There's something, I don't know, it's very strange, but it's almost like it's just hard to explain. I just enjoy the atmosphere of it a whole lot more than like the Feywild, I would say. See.
I will say though, like I think you've noticed that it's very funny that they noticed it the second time being there, but the concept's like when you're outside roaming around, like inner city, I don't do it as much, but there's like a gloomy music that I play.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, just again, heavy, oppressive atmosphere. But when you go into the orphanage, there's that beautiful piano with flute and the sound of fire going. Yeah. And it's almost the same concept of like the save room from Resident Evil, where it's just like, it's a bunch of terrible stuff, but this woman in this orphanage who's an Asmar ex-cleric, it's a place of like happiness and warmth kind of thing. So yeah.
I think the orphanage is cool. I do want to save all the people in the town. And yeah. I don't know.
We'll just
end it there.
No, it's like we'll just have to see.
We will have to see.
Now, was there anyone had any questions or so forth?
No, It was pretty quiet in the chat.
Oh.
If anyone does have any questions, though, we'll give them a second to ask. Because there's a delay in like the Twitch chat. Like, what they see. So.
Did you think it like while they wait? Did you see like Cody's like expression when I kept just talking more about the kids in the orphanage, and he just like, what bad is about to happen? It's like I'm not really in the mindset of doing something terrible to these orphans.
That was funny because like when you go into detail on something, it makes them like question why you're going into detail, because you're like trying to get them attached to it.
Yeah, it's like why are you gonna get attached to these orphans? Like, well,
they're orphans. They're cute. You're about to take them to, like, you know, the material plane, or the regular plane, basically.
Yeah, it's like all these children have never really seen the true sun.
We were joking about their eyes getting burned out.
It's just too bright.
When I pictured that, I pictured like Supernatural, like when the angels were getting like burned or something.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Well, there's no questions in the chat, so
okay.
I'll go ahead and do the outro. Do you have anything to say before I do it?
No, not at all.
Alrighty. So, if you were watching and you would like to watch past episodes, like the VODs of them, there are some on our YouTube channel. There's 2 of them. There's Oni Central, which is my personal one. There's also the PiP Podcast. So if you're only interested in the PiP, make sure you go there and catch up. Some of the past episodes were really good, especially the guest ones with Martinez and Josh and everything. Then we always stream at 10:30 or from 10:30 p.m. on Tuesdays to 12 a.m. and then every other Friday with a guest episode same time, except this Friday. This Friday is going to be postponed. If you would like to, Kyle, we can postpone it to next Friday.
Ooh, change up things. We'll spitball it because that'll be interesting. Yeah, we can see what happens.
Alrighty, and then if you enjoyed it and you want to keep getting like notifications when we go live, follow the Facebook, which is just the PiP Podcast, and hit the follow button on Twitch, and you should be getting an email when we go live. And if you have the Twitch app on your phone, you'll get a notification. So that's pretty much it. Hope you all have a very nice evening.
And good night.